The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
What I get to do and what my team gets to do is help these animals.
It's kind of like a MASH hospital out here sometimes.
That's a whole different ballgame.
I'm Wes Livingston, gunner, mugger. That's my day job.
My name is Earl Waters. I'm a helicopter pilot.
In the world of helicopter flying, it's probably considered one of the most dangerous.
I'm Dr. Ole Alcumbrac, and I'm a wildlife veterinarian. We are here to conserve them, and they are a national treasure.
At the end of the day, I know that what I did ensures the future of these animals.
I'm Dr. Ole Alcumbrac, and I'm a wildlife vet.
Got her. Yeah, it hit her.
And I mean a wildlife vet.
There she is. Oh, there's milk right there.
I'm based out of a mixed animal hospital, and half the year I'm hotel to hotel across the country working on wild species. I love my job. I gotta tell you, this is a lot of fun. Wildlife and conservation medicine, we call it. We're actually performing chemical immobilization via a dart gun. This is really just a modified .22 hunting rifle, and we load a dart into the end of the barrel like so. The gas produced from the explosion of that .22 blank serves as a propulsion device for that dart.
Yeah, this is her here, the lead cow here.
My name is Earl Waters. I'm a helicopter pilot. Oh, I've been flying helicopters 30 years. Animal capture is just about 20.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out here. Yeah.
Pretty much the eyes and the brains of the entire operation.
That's a perfect shot. He's right there, yeah.
I'm Wes Livingston, gunner, mugger for wildlife capture. Gunner shoots the animal and mugger jumps out and handles the animal. Always hands-on with animals, always have been all my life, and always wanted to rescue stuff.
Oh, mama. That wasn't that bad, now was it?
Today we're at Valles, Caldera National Park, and the mission here is to capture and collar 30 female elk for a scientific research project associated with a couple of different universities in New Mexico and Texas. When a helicopter's set up in a gunning operation, pilot's on the right-hand side, mugger and observer is on the left-hand side, gunner's in the right rear. The pilot and the gunner have got to be in sync with one another. We're gonna go dart some elk.
Here we go. Rock and roll.
So basically we go out, we gotta find the elk first.
We're 150-foot trees. We are pushing them down the hill into the open where we can get a good shot.
And then I have to herd them, just like a kind of an old cowboy. You're using the helicopter to herd the elk down through the trees to the openings.
Come on, girls. You're doing good.
While we're coming in for the shot, I've got one eye pretty much on the animal and then the other eye forward on the trees that are coming up.
Are you ready for a dart, Ole? There you go. Here's that one, yeah.
Dart in her hind leg, right hind leg.
Once they're darted, it can take 15 minutes or so before that animal falls asleep.
Got the high step going?
Yeah, she is.
She's doing the funky chicken.
Once immobilized by the gunner, it's the mugger's job to handle the animal. Upon its release, however, there is no guarantee the animal will cooperate, and its ornery disposition can put the mugger in a life or death situation.
All right, I'll let you guys out here.
We get down there, we get the animal blindfolded, which takes away the visual stress that it may be having. We get the animal hobbled. We take an initial temperature to make sure it's not overheated. 103.8, not bad. We're also doing pregnancy diagnosis via ultrasound.
Okay,
we're good.
Pregnant.
She's heavy with child. Yeah, this is a VIT, which stands for vaginal implant transmitter. This transmitter stays quiet throughout the gestation period. Then when the baby's born, it's pushed out. And once it's pushed out, it starts emitting a signal. That gives the biologist a chance to go in and find this calf and be able to either ear tag transmitter or put a calf collar on it so they can follow the calf. Fitting her with a GPS radio tracking collar, and also has VHF capability. They can find her on the ground or via computer.
Yeah, I'm going to inject this tooth right now, some lidocaine, okay?
Okay.
We're going to take a corner and size her, and then they can test it almost like rings on a tree for how old the animal is.
We just went from veterinarian to dentist.
So we're going to do a biphasic reversal, and she should be up here shortly.
The way antagonists and reversal drugs work is they have a higher affinity for the receptors in the brain than the agonist or the drug that we use to put them to sleep. So it displaces that agonist off the receptors, and they wake up and run off. The drugs are being reversed. Their brains always wake up quicker than their butts do.
Yeah.
Okay, sweetheart. Woo! And that's the kind of quick anesthesia we like. The difference between net gun capture events and dart gun are immense. When we set up for a net gun, we have to get pretty close to those animals, but it's an immediate capture. Dart guns, instead of a net to their body, we apply a net to their brain. And we chemically alter them so that they don't care what we're doing with them. It takes a little bit longer for the capture event to occur, and the drug has to get to the brain to have the effect.
People think that you're stressing the animal, but all these animals that we're catching have evolved for thousands of years being stressed. Something from the day it was born has been trying to kill it and eat it. They handle stress very well. It's probably one of the ultimate adrenaline junkies games because it is the most extreme team sport I think you can play. There you go.
We're up here in the Valle Caldera in New Mexico. Elevation's about 9,000 feet. We're capturing elk.
Dr. Ole Alcumbrac and his team are on a mission to capture, study, and collar 30 adult female elk. So far, the team is ahead of schedule, with 2 days remaining in the research gathering operation.
It's important for us to do the work we're doing today because these are our animals, and because of that, we need to conserve them. Got a plan, let's do it. Earl is a snappy pilot. He wears that helicopter like it's a piece of clothing.
Just got a really good friendship over the years of flying, and it's great to actually work elk with him.
Here we go.
Sometimes you will fly backwards, you'll fly sideways. When we learn in flight school, they tell you all this stuff to not do. And when I got my first job in game capture, I had to do all the stuff that I was just told that I couldn't do. So yeah, you just have to accept the risk that stuff can happen. But the reward for me with the animals, you know, outweighs that risk.
All right, Ole, whenever you get ready. All right, here we go.
I scare myself at least 2 or 3 times every capture.
We got a real big mama on the right there.
Boxed and loaded.
A helicopter is not a stable shooting platform, especially in a game capture operation. We have all the doors off. It's windy. We have the slipstream coming off the back of the helicopter. We have the rotor system that is having an effect on the darts.
Right on the other one's ass, right there. Okay. Now she's just broke off by herself. Here we go. You missed.
Down again.
No, you missed. There you missed.
Earl will let you know if you miss a shot. Over
You missed.
and over and over.
You missed.
We have any more darts?
Yeah, one more.
For aerial captures, helicopter flight times cost over $1,000 an hour. The darts and medication cost $100 a shot. And to achieve the mission of capturing and collaring 30 female elk while still staying on budget, only the best can make the cut.
I know I have a huge responsibility to do everything in my power to make sure those animals aren't hurt.
Trying to get her head straight where I wasn't choking her.
Helpful qualification in being a mugger is knowing first aid. One particular incident, we were in Utah and had a cow elk that we'd netted, and her head went through the net. Just the way she landed, it put pressure on her windpipe and her jugular vein, and she was out. She was not breathing.
You're kidding me. Come on.
I jumped out, went to tie her up. She wasn't struggling, nothing. Like, oh man. And then you need to start that breathing again. And so do artificial respiration and CPR on her.
Come on.
So I covered one nostril and held her mouth shut and inflated her lungs. My mugger with me, I said, you don't pump her heart. And I was giving her mouth to nose resuscitation.
She's doing it. She's doing it. She's doing it. She'll come back.
She came back too. That was my instincts, is man, give her mouth to nose resuscitation, get her heart going again. It's just like a human that's been choked out, and get them going again.
There we go. Yeah.
Elk nostril's probably that big, and your lips will fit on it just perfect. Wouldn't even have a second thought of giving any animal mouth to mouth. Let me think about that. Maybe a bear, because they eat some nasty stuff, but I would do it.
She's doing it. She'll come back. Here we go. Yeah. Beautiful thing.
We're at 9,000 feet. Winds are blowing real strong, so.
While Dr. Ole and his team were on pace to achieve the goal of collaring 30 female elk, Mother Nature is no longer cooperating.
We got a weather system coming in. The winds are really beginning to pick up. High winds. You don't see elk, you don't see any animals. They don't like the wind either.
Man, this wind's really kicking our butts up here.
The wind is really challenging today. One, we're at 9,000 feet. We're in a helicopter that does not like to fly in real strong winds.
The helicopter maneuvers can be very, very tricky.
Yeah, we may end up having to throw the towel in.
If the winds get too bad, Earl's going to say, can't do it, boys, and we're going to be gone.
Yep, we'll shut her down. Too much wind.
After high winds grounded the team, they begin the final day of the operation, still needing to dart, study, and collar 4 cow elk to achieve their goal.
So we're going to go out and get the last elk of the capture. That's the plan.
All right, you ready?
All right, RPM's 100, throttle's open. They're getting close. Miss. You miss.
Well, this type of flying is really challenging.
You miss.
I think the wind is maybe have a factor.
We're dealing with weather, strong winds, and high altitude, all while trying to keep the helicopter in the air while trying to capture the elk. I have to know what's going on 360 degrees around us at all times. If you lose that situational awareness, you will crash.
Missed again. Man, give us a frickin' break. There you go. I'll start darts in. That one ought to put her down.
That's a wonderful count.
She's handling the stroke quite nicely.
We have a pregnancy.
Yeah.
She's like a fatty too. Okay, girl, this won't hurt a bit. 1, 2, 3.
go, sweetie pie. Try that. You wanna go? Go. Ah, get out of here.
Before European settlement, there were an estimated 10 million elk in North America. By 1890, the number dropped to below 100,000. Now, due to the hard work of these state and local agencies, there are once again over 1 million elk on the continent, with an estimated 75,000 in New Mexico.
I think elk are a majestic symbol of the West. You think of that bugle, and you think of that sound, and you think of it in the backdrop of the Rocky Mountains like we are here now, and that is what makes them so majestic.
There's elk right here. Okay, I'm going to turn him and then work him. How about that one on the second to the right? I'll get you right on her. There you go. I'll start darts in.
So it's just a very complicated effort sometimes to get darts in animals.
Following her like she knows where she's going. Well, she must know where she's going because she's running. I'm going to have to land this way.
We darted an elk, and it was a less than favorable immobilization.
This particular cow elk, we delivered 2 different darts to. After 35 minutes, she finally went down and was doing a lot of running during that time, and she got pretty hot. We're using a standard elk dose of carfentanil that is pretty typical. I mean, we've used it many, many times.
Yeah.
It's just not working for us today.
Her initial temperature was 109. Now at 108, the brain starts to melt.
I got a question for you, Jimmy. This animal's 109 going up. I don't know if we ought to even mess with her, just reverse her and try to get her back on her feet and let her go at this point. She's pretty critical. So this particular cow elk, we delivered 2 different darts to, and she got pretty hot. I got a question for you, Jimmy. This animal's 109 going up. I don't know if we ought to even mess with her, just reverse her and try to get her back on her feet and let her go. She's pretty critical.
Yeah, I don't want to call her.
I think we reverse her.
Okay. All right, we're gonna reverse her.
With the clock ticking and the elk's temperature rising, they have mere seconds to act to ensure this elk walks away safely.
If we decide to work her, we're gonna just end up with a dead elk. We wanna just reverse the drugs she does have and get her up and get her out of here and make her forget everything she just went through.
Okay, we put it partially in the vein. We expect him to be back up in 2 to 5 minutes, something like that. So just help them get their bearings a little bit.
She just needs to get out of here.
Yeah, she does. She just needs to cool down.
We're going to take off the blindfold. It's very important. I've seen many times when the blindfolds were left on or couldn't be taken off, and we do not want them running around with blindfolds on.
I got her.
No, come on, baby.